that was where it changed when Norris came off. What we needed in that match was an outlet. I felt that we needed, even when we were winning, I felt we were getting really overloaded in the wide areas. They'd done the homework really well, and seeing that if they keep spreading the ball, they're going to do really well. I actually think Salford are a more difficult team to play when they're away than when you play them at home because of the expansive way that they play. They like getting the ball out wide. Salford's home ground's not like that, so you can be more compact. But I think our pitch really suited them as well, and our formation suited them too. But even though I was thinking that at half time, I was thinking, gosh, I hope we bolster something in midfield. If Norris is coming off, do we need to go to 4-5-1 and stop that threat from out wide? But that didn't happen as far as I could see. And they did, and they came back and they did what they do really well. They have got a really good away record. I think they've got the best away record in League Two, from what I read before the game. So I think it was always going to be a real challenge when Norris came off. But to concede straight after half time was a real killer blow. And when I saw the subs come on, as I'm sure everybody thought, how's that ball going to stay up front now? Because we're not great at retaining possession. We weren't great yesterday. There was a lot of effort. I thought the commitment from the team was really positive. But yeah, when Norris came off, you thought, where's it going to stick from here? How are we going to keep hold of the ball? And where's the outlet? When we get the ball, where's the outlet? So yeah, that was probably the big change in the game.
I agree. Because if you lose a player of Luke Norris's quality, that is going to impact the way that the team is able to play. And it obviously changes Tranmere's game plan to a degree as well, because they haven't quite got anyone else in the squad who's capable of matching what he does or really playing in a similar way to how he does. But I was still interested in the way that Tranmere decided to change the game when he came off by bringing Paul Lewis on as his replacement, when you could have potentially brought on Josh Hawkes and put Dennis in a more central position, and you'd probably be losing a little bit less if you move Dennis into that central role than having Paul Lewis replace Norris. Could have even brought Charlie Jolly on at that stage, but instead it was Paul Lewis, and I just thought it was a slightly strange sub. I'm not having to go at Paul Lewis because I'm not saying that he was to blame. I'm just not entirely sure he was the best replacement for Luke Norris in that situation.
Yeah, I think one of the things I remember the earlier shows that you had, and you talked about the impact of Conor Jennings, and I had those kind of mixed emotions, as I don't want him to come back and be a shadow of the player that he was, and he certainly isn't. I thought he was tremendous yesterday, and with Lewis coming on, I felt that we needed to have more bodies in the middle, and we needed to get more cover out wide. I know there was a lot of criticism afterwards for the fullbacks for Leek, but Leek was left one-on-one with some really good players, and he did. It's not a lack of effort with him; he's still learning. It's a bit too easy to beat him in those wide areas, but having said that, he's still developing, and he needs that support in there. And I felt if there was a game that he needed that support, yesterday was the game. And I didn't want to come on and be, full of hindsight and said, "Oh, we should have done this." That was my genuine thought at half time. Yeah, Paul Lewis came on. It's a tricky one to come on when you're part of a three, because I think it's always difficult to know where you're playing. I would have liked to have seen more changes like we saw half time against MK Dons. I think that way we saw what was happening against MK Dons, and I thought Dorsey made some really good changes then that got us in the game and got us control of the game. Yeah, I thought that change was one that didn't work out as we wanted it to. And also, we all love Sam Taylor, but I felt yesterday after the first 10-15 minutes he was pretty much anonymous, and he needed to come off, and I agree. I think Hawkes would have been the one that I would have looked at and thought he's better at keeping hold of the ball. He's going to give us that outlet, and I think that would be the change that I would have looked to have made. Having said that, when Hawks came on, he struggled as well. But we were still ahead. We were still ahead, so I can see the thinking behind trying to bolster the midfield in the central area a bit. But yeah, it didn't work out as we wanted it to, and they continued to overrun us until they went ahead, until it was 4-2 really. And then we really did get at them and had the chances to perhaps get a draw out of it, which probably would have been just about a fair result. We were really extended. I also think we need to remember, and that they have. I know this is an easy thing to say, but they do have a bigger budget than us. They have got better players than us in certain areas, in my opinion. So it was always going to be a stretch. But yeah, the changes at halftime didn't work, didn't stop the flow of the game, and certainly that goal straight after halftime was an awful time to concede, and it was a case of, here we go, we're in trouble now, and we were always struggling after that against a good Salford team.